Folks, hello and welcome to Math 1112. This is College Math for Aviation Part 2. And I know this is what everybody wants to do on a Friday in mid-June is start a new course in calculus. This is a bit of an oddball. We're starting this term on today, Friday, the 15th of June, and we'll run for 9 weeks through the 16th of August. Let me just say very quickly, because we're starting on a Friday, our weeks will run Friday to Thursday, Friday to Thursday. So that's a bit of a change from the traditional terms in the spring and the fall. But I'm sure we'll get the hang of it here very shortly. Very quickly, what is Math 112 or Math 112? Well, it's a 9-week introduction to both differential and integral calculus with aviation applications. And I think as undergraduate students, I think you understand or you appreciate your mathematics courses best when we can show applications, and we'll do our very best to show how differential and integral calculus mesh with the aviation career field. Let's go through a couple quick points here. This is in addition to the written introduction that I've provided on the announcements page on the home page in the course, but some things that I want to reinforce as you go through the beginnings of the course this week. As a group, or let me say first, keys to your success and our success as a group. There's a lot of reading here, and let me say that there is no substitute for going through the reading to understand the material. You've got to take time to go through as carefully as you can all the readings, and I say that for a couple reasons here using my next bullet. First of all, the concepts are probably different. If you've never seen or had a course in differential or integral calculus, the concepts are a bit different. And to go along with that, you've got new mathematical notation. Every time you take a math course, there's new notation that goes with it. So to some degree, this is like learning a new language. And as I mentioned, I'm assuming this is probably very new to most of you. So the reading is very, very important so that you're focused on the concepts and you have some exposure to the mathematical notation. Whenever, as you go through the readings, if you have questions on the concepts or the notations, please don't hesitate to ask questions. I always say that if one student has a question, there's 5 others with the same question. And it's, when I say your success individually and our success as a class, it's important to have this dialogue amongst us when there's questions that come up. And so I urge you to post those whenever they crop up. Each week when you log into the course site on the announcement page, each week I will have an introductory message for you that introduces the material and reminds you what your assignments will be for the week. So please make sure you are watching out for my for my announcements each week. And if there's any questions about that, please let me know. Discussion posts. If you have been with us here at Embry-Riddle for some time, you know that each of our courses have discussion posts each week. Your discussion posts are going to be assigned using what we call a calculus identification number. And I will post each of you will have a CIN, and I will post those on as a new announcement on the home page, and I will also email those to you. And you will see how those are integrated into your discussion posts each week. If you have had for instance, if you took Math 111 with us, you know that the rubric for your discussion posts or how we grade those, one of the components, probably the primary component of that grade is when you make your initial post, when you put your first post on the board, we want it to be as thorough and we want that to be as best of an effort as you can make at solving a problem. So please make sure your first post is as clear and thorough as you can make it, and we will go through it from there. Each week, I will post on the announcements page in the very front end of the course on the announcement page with that weekly introduction. I'm going to post a video introduction to each discussion post. In those, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how if I was going to approach such a discussion post, I'm going to show you how I would step through that methodically. And I'm not going to do the post for you, but I'm going to show you the order in which I would present material. And I'm also going to focus on the notation that goes with whatever particular lesson we're in. I want to be very careful about making sure you're aware of the notation. Final point I want to make here about your discussion post. once you make your post within 24 hours, it's likely that I will have read and provided feedback on your discussion post. If there is anything that I would like to have readdressed, I will make sure that that is clear in my notes to you, and I would ask that you please take a look at my comments and then repost your work. That's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to make sure you understand the work that we're going through in the discussion posts, and obviously everybody here wants to do well from a grade perspective, and so in order to get full credit, I want to make sure these discussion posts are done and tidied up as best as possible. So again, once you post your initial or make your initial post, please go back and look for my feedback and repost it as necessary. We will have 4 exams in the course, and they will be taken through my math lab, or the questions will be presented through my math lab. If you have gone through the readings carefully and you have done your homework, I think you'll be very well prepared to take your exams. In my math lab, obviously you're not going to be able to type a bunch of written or type a bunch of work and put it in there. You're going to be giving either a numerical, typically you're providing a numerical answer to each of the questions, or you are, in some cases there may be a multiple choice question, but typically it's a written numerical response. As you are going through your exams, you will be asked to write those problems out, and we're gonna ask you to submit that work. That's a component of your each exam grade, and that work must come to me within 30 minutes of you taking your exam or submitting your exam. There'll be a Dropbox for you to submit that to me, and the reason that we ask for that, we want to certainly make sure that the work that you're doing is commensurate with what we want you to learn, and of more value to you from a grade perspective. If I look at a numerical response in my math lab and it's incorrect, it's very likely that you've done a lot of good work up to some point where you made a small error which made your final solution incorrect. So if that work is legible and it's organized and it's submitted to me on time, I will go through that and award partial credit for every problem each problem that you have incorrect, as long as one final time, as long as it's submitted on time and it's legible and it's organized. The final point I want to make about your exams: typically within 2 to 3 days, depending on how I receive exams. Typically, I'll receive a few earlier in the week, and then a lot towards the end of the availability period, and then it makes it it's a little time consuming to go through a bunch of exams at one time. But please make sure you check the Dropbox and you look for my feedback on your exam. It's very important that your written work is clear and legible, because when I find that you have a problem wrong in my math lab, that's the first thing I'm going to do is go to your written work and, to the best of my ability, find the spot where you first went astray and point that out to you for understanding. And I want to make sure that as you finish up these exams, that there are no questions and that you're comfortable moving on to the next set of material. So within a couple days of posting or submitting your exam, go back to the Dropbox and I will have comments there on your work. And if there are any questions, please let me know. Final comment here. In every one of my classes, whether it's Math 112 or any other course, I won't say my number one goal, but one of my top priorities for you is to make sure that you have fun. And I know that there's probably some of you out there that aren't big math fans, but let me promise you that your hard work will result in in learning, and your learning will result in your success. And that, if you're not a math fan, success, I hope that that translates to you having some level of fun in the course here. And it's always my objective that we have fun. I think over the next 9 weeks we will have good interaction, and we'll enjoy the coursework and enjoy each other. And by your hard work, I think that you will find that you can be successful, no question about it, and that will lead to you having some fun in the course. So if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know, and I hope you enjoy the course. Thank you.